Welcome to Meeting of the Moms, a place to talk about all the things. I'm Amy Rasmussen. I'm a teacher by profession, a wife and mother by choice, an optimist by nature, and happy by design. I'm here with my good friend Lorna, who I call one of my greatest cheerleaders.
Hi, I'm Lorna Adams. I'm a wife, mom, and certified life coach. I strive to embrace and enjoy each new phase of life. Here at Moms, we believe the world is wide open to all of us and that we have unlimited potential. We're so glad you're here.
Hey, Lorna.
Hey.
We are deep into Christmas time, everybody. We've launched a few episodes about Christmas, and this episode is going to find you the morning of Christmas Eve. So if you happen to be listening that morning, in whatever state you're in, we wanted to come to you with some thoughts we are having about Christmas Eve. So we're coming to you in advance. It is not Christmas Eve for us. Which if it were, that would be great, because then we could tell you really how we're feeling. We're just going to think about it and explore it with you, and hopefully feel a little bit of like an uplift and a pat on the back and a good job for whatever you have done to bring yourself to today.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
We've said lots of stuff about Christmas the past 3 weeks, and so we may refer to some of those things off and on. Those are going to be episodes 23, 24, and 25. There's a lot of intertwining that goes on. So we won't tell you the specific episode, but just know that those 3 episodes came before this one, and so if we refer to one, it's at least in one of those 3 that you want to go look at. I want to start with a question that I brought up in one of those episodes for myself, another Christmas. And that was, what do I need to hear this Christmas? What do I need to tell myself this Christmas? And I think that's actually a really good place to start on Christmas Eve. You've done all the things or not done all the things, right? But whether we like it or not, it is Christmas Eve. And so now it's time to think, what do I need to hear? What do I need to tell myself? Because we can tell ourselves what we need to hear for the moment.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like I have sat on Christmas Eve, I sat in the space of, I didn't do enough. I should have done this other thing. There could be a whole myriad of thoughts that are kind of bringing me down and helping me feel pretty bad about myself.
Yep.
And then really, I'm not enjoying Christmas Eve because I'm being so self-conscious, right? And so I agree. And I think it's helpful to be able to decide what we want to think about on Christmas Eve to make it a more enjoyable experience, because we probably do. We probably want it to be a positive experience that day.
Right. But I think there's a few of us who are like, okay, my plan this year is I want Christmas Eve to really be horrible for me. I want to feel bad about every single thing that I've done so far. I want to focus on everything I could regret, not just this year, but let's do the whole life. Like, that would be a good idea.
Fine.
This is also the perfect time for that. And then let's make sure to just add in some things like, well, no one ever even should want to be around me. So I guess I should just decide to not even be around my family because I'm such a crank. I mean, let's just do it all. That would be a great idea. No, really, in all actuality, though, I think that some of this it can help us if we maybe think about why we would have a flood of lots of different thoughts and feelings on a day like Christmas Eve. And so maybe we can explore that for just a minute, Lorna, because one of the thoughts I'm having is, for me, if a lot of those thoughts and feelings are coming up, some of it is because there's been such anticipation for what's going to happen tomorrow on Christmas Day. And I have worked really hard. And I think anytime we come to that moment of working really hard, if we have a production that we're putting on, if we have a show, like a project at work, right? That we're like, okay, here we go. It's time to turn the project in. If our child has a homework assignment they're turning in, they've worked really hard on. If we just made a really fantastic dinner that we feel like is fantastic and we worked hard on it, there is a little bit of vulnerability. And a lot of times there's a whole lot of loving and caring. And if we didn't care so much, none of it would matter. And so I think even just recognizing some of these feelings are coming up because I do care. And so that's okay that I'm feeling a little bit nervous or a little apprehensive or whatever the words are. And it makes sense that those feelings are there because I do care. Yeah. And now I can step into, even if someone's disappointed with the gift I gave, my efforts were still worth it, or whatever. What thoughts do you have about just kind of that idea of, it makes sense that some of those feelings happen to surface at this time?
Yeah, because I think that for me, because there's lots of pressure that I put on myself. I want it to be perfect. Really, I don't know how my kids are going to react. I don't know who's actually going to love the thing that I picked out, the color I chose, whatever. And as I'm sitting in this place that I have to do it perfectly, it sure feels heavy. And then I am super nervous and concerned about how it's going to go. But if I can sit in the space of, I do care, I did what I felt good about in the moment, and here it is, then I think it's going to be better. It makes me think about what you just started with pretty much about celebrations and about being able to celebrate what we have done this season.
Yes.
I think just in life, we are just having all of these experiences and we don't really slow it down and really see and give ourselves some credit for what we've actually done. And so maybe this is a time to kind of think about, what have I done this season? And I'm not in a judgmental way, I should have done more.
Yeah.
But in a way of like, good job me, I cared and I did this. So whatever those things are, whether it's like I actually bought some gifts and I got together maybe some neighbor gifts and I made some treats possibly. And maybe I organized some Christmas get together of some sort, whether you and your family went somewhere or whether you invited people over or you went out for maybe a little nativity walk or whatever. I think this might be a fun day to really kind of ponder on what you've done to help make this season kind of special.
I love this idea. Like, what if there were a new tradition that on Christmas Eve, moms, parents, the makers of the Christmas magic everywhere actually took a minute to celebrate what they created. And to just remember that this whole creative work of parenthood, of motherhood, of something like Christmas, it is worthwhile. And a lot of the magic in it comes from love. I'm going to pause just a minute, everybody, because I forgot to say at the very beginning that there will probably be spoilers in this episode. So if you're listening with like little ears nearby, you might want to put in some earbuds or save it for later. But we are going to be very free with our conversations about Christmas magic in a way that you just might want to listen to when you're on your own doing things, as opposed to with little people. But just coming back to that idea of like, love is actually what creates the magic, and being at peace with ourselves and what we've done creates that magic. So Lorna, we did not even celebrate today. So what if we pause and celebrate and then we can keep talking? Just like, what have we done to this point? Since I brought it up, I will start. So you have just a minute to think about that since I threw it at you. I'm going to celebrate that I decided to put on red and green today when we recorded. Yes, I was like, oh, that'll be fun. That will be fun to wear red and green when we record. And then a second thing I'm going to celebrate is the fact that as I've been thinking about Christmas this year, I've spent time, not like sitting down time even, but just kind of as I'm doing things, thinking about where am I at this Christmas? How am I feeling about it? It's a little different for me this Christmas. Usually I enter the Christmas season with all kinds of excitement and joy, and I'm actually quite meh this Christmas season, and I'm not loving the meh, but I'm also realizing like, okay, that's where I am. So this Christmas season is probably going to call for some calm things, maybe some quiet Christmas music, maybe just toning down some of the things I might have done in the past, and a whole lot of like, all right, I'm going to call that good enough. I'm going to call that done. And now I'm just going to be at peace. And so acknowledging, I'm celebrating, acknowledging, like being aware of where I am and accepting where I am, and then deciding that that's what's going to inform my Christmas decisions rather than some big long list of like, but you must do it this way. So those are a couple of my celebrations.
Well, so at this minute when we're recording, my husband started decorating. He pulled up some bins and he pulled out the Christmas tree with lights. Like we have an artificial Christmas tree. And I am just sitting in the space of, I don't have it all decorated and it's totally fine. Like I'm having to like recheck myself. There's been a couple of times where I'm like, oh, I should have it all up yet. I'm on a Marco Polo group with some of my really good friends from high school. And there's 4 of us. All 3 of them showed me in their Marco Polos a few days ago. I mean, just so really close to Thanksgiving, probably over Thanksgiving break, that they are all decorated for Christmas. And in my mind, I could feel some of that like guilt of like, oh, I'm not decorated yet. And then just as quickly as I'm noticing that coming up, I'm like, and it's okay. I can be exactly where I am and it doesn't have to be a problem. It just hasn't worked out yet. I put other things as a priority right now and that's totally fine. And I'll get there. So I think I'm celebrating that I'm embracing where I am and letting it be okay, not judging me and comparing myself to where other people are. So I'll say that. And then I also will celebrate that I did order some Advents for my kids and I got those given to them before December 1st. So that was
wow, good job. Yeah, that's awesome.
I did send off my missionary her package so that she could have it for Christmas well before December 1st. So I think even without, like I've done some Christmas things, even though I don't have the house decorated, there's other things that I've been trying to work on so that I can celebrate because I'm still doing some things. It's just looking different than the
Yep.
physical Christmas.
Yep. Yep. And I love the idea too, like with the decorating, we've talked about this before. If it's fun, great, embrace it. And if it's like, okay, I'm doing it because I know I like it when my tree's up, like once it's up, I love it, then sometimes we can also say just the trees up this year, and that's what's going to feel like Christmas. And we get to decide all that. So if you want to, all of you wonderful people out there, if you want to pause and think of your own celebration for a couple of minutes. Like, don't wait till later. Just do it now. Just celebrate something and give yourself credit for the fact that you're trying and that you're making efforts and that you love people. Because that idea of caring isn't so much about I'm caring about the whole big list. It's that we care about people. That's often where the list comes from, is that we're caring about people and their experience and everything.
I want to add by celebrating, this is you actually being able to care about yourself. So take a couple minutes and give yourself a little bit of credit, a little bit of praise, and the validation that you have been doing some things. Way to go, mom. Good job.
Yep. Yep. And if you're ready to springboard off of that, then you can also think about noticing what someone else has also done to make this season pleasant for you. And it might look like a Christmas thing, or it might look like I noticed that my child, whose job it is to unload the dishwasher, has actually been doing that the past couple weeks without me reminding him. That feels really awesome. Thank you to him. So I think then we can also springboard off that and notice the contributions of others too, because I think sometimes if we get too into the mode of thinking that we're doing it all and we're doing everything, we also forget what other people are contributing for us. So if we can pair that together, I think it just really brings up the level of joy and peace.
Well, and that was exactly the part about the tree, my husband bringing up the tree.
Yes.
He just did it. Like I was out, he had come home just a little bit, just like we just crossed paths. I had just left to run errands and he had come home just right before I had left, or right after I'd left. And I was just gone for like a half an hour maybe. And he had pulled out the tree. And I didn't know that. He wasn't, it just was fun that he was willing to do that. I hadn't asked him to. I had, it hadn't been on my list of like, oh, I hope he does these things. He just did it. And so I can be so grateful that he cared enough to just pull out the tree. He was ready to have some Christmas decorations around our house.
Yeah, I love it. I think that on Christmas Eve, one of the big things that many of us are often thinking about is the gifts that are coming, whether that are being given from us or given to us. And I love this idea from Patrick Kieran about the fact that throughout time, people have given gifts to each other to strengthen relationships, express love and gratitude, and mark important events like weddings, birthdays, and holidays. And I think it can help us, again, if we're pausing and we're just wondering where our brain is for a minute and where our thoughts are. If we can remember, why is it that we're giving gifts? It is to strengthen a relationship. It is to express love and gratitude, right? It's to mark the event. Because sometimes I think someone could be like, I'm not feeling the love and gratitude right now. And so if nothing else, maybe we can just be like, this is marking the event this year. Okay, that's where I'm at. But sometimes we can choose to lean into remembering that it's about the love and gratitude, and it's about strengthening relationships with people too.
That you can feel love and gratitude to other people, even if you're not feeling that from them.
Yep.
I think sometimes we get mixed up in if like they should feel love, they should be grateful. I gave them this gift, they should feel my love, they should feel better, we should feel closer or whatever.
Right.
Like trying to kind of get into their head and their space where actually maybe we can just sit in what we have control over. And it's, I'm doing this because I love them. I'm doing it because I am grateful for them. I'm doing it because I want to have a good relationship with them. And that's what it feels like is a way to show I love them. And I have it, and I want to have this good relationship with them.
Yeah. I think it all comes back to just asking ourselves, okay, why? Why am I engaging in these traditions? And not a why that, well, sometimes the answer that comes up is because we're hoping that someone will do this. That's fine. That comes up. We all sit there. And if that's what comes up, then we can also reframe it if we choose to. And say, oh, I'm noticing that that's part of why I'm starting to feel uptight and cranky and whatever. So do I want to reframe it so that I am giving these gifts because it feels good to me to give a present. And it reminds me that this person's important to me.
Yes.
And all of that. And the same thing if a gift is given to us. And it's whatever it is, that the first thought is, this person is giving me a gift, maybe to mark the holiday, an important event. Okay, I can accept that. I can accept that with love in my heart. Maybe to express love and gratitude to me, maybe to strengthen our relationship. But regardless of what their intent is, I can receive it as if that is their intent.
Yeah. And that's going to feel better too, as we're receiving it through that lens or whatever, as we're looking at it from that perspective.
Yeah. All right. Do you have some other things you have on your mind as we're thinking about this Christmas Eve?
I guess the other part too about celebrating, I think there's also an element of offering ourselves some grace. That maybe we haven't done everything exactly how we wanted to, or things got away from us and we didn't do some of the things. But I think offering ourselves some grace in, I'm human. I don't have all the time in the world. I don't have all the energy in the world. And here we are on Christmas Eve. And what I've done is enough. That is what I was capable of, obviously, because that's what I did do. And so I think just giving ourselves some grace around all of that too is helpful.
Yeah. I think sometimes if we can look at traditions and events and all the things around Christmas or other times as a menu of options from which we get to choose each year, and even on Christmas Eve, to look at which menu options did I choose this year. And I think if a person is feeling like, I kind of wish I'd chosen the menu option of sitting by the Christmas tree and looking at the lights, or I kind of wish I'd chosen the option to do whatever, then if you are sitting in that space, guess what? Christmas comes again every year. And so sometimes we can make a couple notes like, cool, I just learned some things about myself. What I learned is, those are some things that I feel I'm missing. Like I miss doing those things. So let's remind myself for next year, put a reminder on the calendar or whatever, and then let it go and celebrate the fact that we chose these menu items this year, and celebrate that we learned something about ourselves and what we would like to do a different time. Because I think, again, if we're stepping into the celebration of it, that we don't have to beat ourselves up about it even as we're learning, because it's also okay to learn, I don't really want to do it that way again next year. And it's okay, I did it that way this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's part of like being a little more self-aware and not beating ourselves up. I think if we're going to sit in that space of judging ourselves and beating ourselves up, then we lose the opportunity to learn from it.
Yes.
Well, if we'll like let it like loosen that up, not judge ourselves, just notice and then decide, do I want to do it differently? Do I like how it turned out? Maybe I love it and I want to redo all of it the same. Maybe, and maybe there's some tweaks. Okay.
Yeah. I want to reiterate, as you're checking in with yourself, maybe take a minute to tell yourself good job with wherever you're at. And I hope that anything from this episode, you will take what is going to lift you and inspire you, and the other stuff, just let it go. If you hear anything today where you're like, oh my gosh, that's her list of like the maybe things that she's going to do, I'm not doing any of that. That's fine. So take what helps you and don't worry about the rest. Another thing that has been on my mind is, I think I read on Facebook somewhere, someone who said maybe a better idea than treating every day like it was our last is choosing to treat every day as if it's our first. And I've just been thinking about that for like the last week or two. And so with Christmas, like today, Christmas Eve, what if we were to think, not like, what if this were my last Christmas Eve? I feel like sometimes that gives us this feeling of desperation, like I gotta make it amazing. But if we think, what if I stepped into this Christmas Eve as if it were my first or second, but something where it's like right at the beginning. And the word that comes to mind for me, if we were to do that, is the word of like just the wonder of what the Christmas lights look like, the wonder of the feeling when a gift is given or received or whatever. So I just like this idea. What if we treated today, Christmas Eve, as if it were our first?
I love it. And I think just the amazement, and I don't know, that is kind of a fun way to look at it and maybe think about it. Maybe that would be a helpful shift in perspective.
Just a fun little thought about wonder. There's a movie called Rise of the Guardians. We really enjoy watching it during the Christmas season. And the character of Santa Claus in that movie, his center is wonder. He has this gift of being able to see the wonder, see and create wonder in the world. And so if you're looking for a little inspiration to feel the wonder, maybe that movie would be a great one while you're doing any of the last minute stuff that you might need to do for Christmas Eve.
Maybe tomorrow on Christmas Day. Like that could be something if you wanted.
Or anytime. It can create wonder.
I think my final thoughts would be kind to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're doing good things. You are trying. You're in the middle of the thick of things. Be kind to yourself through all of this and give yourself some credit. Notice the things you're doing. Lots of our work as moms is invisible. And you are the only one that gets to notice all of those amazing invisible things you are adding to your life and to your family. So do that. Sit in that space.
And I'm going to take that one step further, that I think a lot of the best things we do in life, whether as moms or as individuals, a lot of those things are actually invisible. Or they're visible only to a very small group of people, maybe one person. It's been my experience that at times a friend has said, "Do you remember when you did this thing for me?" And I'm like, "I don't remember that." And they're like, "Well, you did that." And I had the opportunity to say that to someone else this time, just a few weeks ago. And I said, they said, "How did you even come up with such and such that you want?" And I'm like, "Because at this point you gave me this and my family has loved it." And she said, "I did?" I'm all, "Yes, you're the one who gave this to us." And she's like, "Oh, that makes me feel good." So I think that visibility piece is such a big deal. And we don't have to blow it up all the time, but the celebrations and the gratitude for ourselves and the way we show up and being willing for those things to be visible in a way just to us, and be okay with the fact that, yeah, sometimes they're invisible only to us. And so we're also here as two outside voices telling you that whatever those things are, good job you. And we hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Thanks for coming to Meeting of the Moms. We hope it made your load a little lighter. We'd love to hear what's on your mind. Send your celebrations, takeaways, and suggestions for future topics to momswithamyandlorna@gmail.com.
If you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe. If this isn't the right fit for you, we wish you well on your journey. Until next time, I'm Lorna Adams.
And I'm Amy Rasmussen. See you next week at Moms.